Usually when a career completely stumbles, people ask what went wrong. I think in Kim Petras' case, the more appropriate question is what didn't go wrong. Kim's career is kind of a classic example of when too many cooks have their hands in the pot and ruin the simplicity of something that could have been great. For those of you that don't know, Kim Petras is a transgender woman. She's actually one of the youngest documented transgender people on record that had surgery. The reason I mention her being a trans woman is because it is a unique and rare instance to be a transgender pop star that receives the level of attention that Kim has, and her presence is indeed a remarkable feat, but her music and career choices have seemed to squander the momentum she once had. Kim burst out onto the scene in 2017 with her debut single, I Don't Want It At All. It's kind of like a modern take on Madonna's Material Girl. She's largely made sugary sweet escapist pop, citing a lot of dance pop divas such as Kylie Minogue and Britney Spears as inspirations. It's simple, it's fun, it's catchy. She may have even been a little ahead of where the pop landscape currently is, because her debut single emits the same energy as a song like Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, and we've also seen a rise in fun queer pop like Chaperone. When Kim debuted, it was in a time where fun was not necessarily the dominant factor in pop music. Nonetheless, it filled a niche that was sorely missing in pop, and Kim subsequently built a loyal fanbase following the release of her mini singles. She also collaborated with people like Charlie XCX and Sophie. In 2019, she released what was described as her debut mixtape titled Clarity, an album that felt like it delivered on her brand. It was met with very good critical reception, and keep in mind that this was all done without Kim being signed to a major label. It was following the release of Clarity that Kim's career would be unstable and completely directionless. Inconsistent is the word, in both releasing and quality. In 2020, Kim Petras released what was thought to be the lead single for her debut album called Malibu. It's one of her finest singles, a Michael Jackson-influenced dance track. The single was well promoted, and although it didn't become a big hit, it's one of those things where I feel like it pays off to her fanbase because it's a quality song and will still be appreciated. Keep in mind, she's still independent at this point. Then in 2021, she was signed to Republic Records. Future Starts Down served as her major label debut, which was promoted as her official lead single to her then upcoming album Problematique, and it's a middling song to say the least. Coconuts was the follow-up single, and it was clearly gunning to be viral meme material, but it falls flat, borderline unlistenable. Then dead center of her album rollout, she releases the ultra-divisive EP Slut Pop, which not only received controversy due to its hypersexual nature, but also because it was produced by Dr. Luke. The choice to release Slut Pop was so bizarre. A few months after Slut Pop, she confirmed that her debut album Problematique had been scrapped and the album leaked. In 2022, Sam Smith and Kim Petras unleashed Unholy, a commercial hope for both artists who had struggled with prior singles, but unlike Sam, Unholy was Kim's first real hit and her breakthrough. It went viral on TikTok, topped the charts in multiple countries, and they even won a Grammy for the song. It was controversial, fun, and a huge record. A record that Kim had clearly been trying to make for quite some time. On paper, Unholy did a lot for Kim's career, but I'm not really sure it did much to extend her reach and star power, especially since it came at such a drastically transformative point in Sam Smith's career, who the public is far more familiar with. Just think of it like this, and I think this comparison makes the most sense. Sam Smith is the role of Lady Gaga on this song, Kim Petras is the role of Kobe O'Donis, and Unholy is Just Dance. Massive career hit for both, but really only feels essential to one. Her label clearly tried to lean into the controversial blasphemous angle found on Unholy for her follow-up single If Jesus Was a Rock Star, which is one of those boring songs that are only provocative and thought-provoking in name because it is mind-numbingly generic guitar pop. It doesn't even make sense sonically as a follow-up to Unholy. She quickly followed it up with Burke, which continued her uninspired streak, and eventually Alone accompanied with Nicki Minaj, with neither of the singles being good follow-ups to Unholy or becoming hits in their own right. Not only did the music progressively get worse up until this point in her career, but there was just so many moves that didn't make sense. The team behind her clearly wanted a big hit to lead up to her debut album, but every single leading up to the album just seemed like scrambling. They didn't try to fight this issue by releasing a good song, but just trying to appeal to the least common denominator. Eventually her official debut album Feed the Beast was released in 2023. The title in tribute to her album being leaked and music industry troubles. The album's critical, commercial, and fan reception show how she and the people behind her had effectively destroyed the momentum she had built. It is by far her worst project, and strips away virtually all of Kim's interesting qualities. Not that Kim was ever the most sonically unique, but at least at the beginning of her career, she had a clear niche, direction, well-produced earworms. That was never fully realized, and I can't help but to wonder how her career would have turned out if she chose to hone in on where she started. Kim Petras seemed closer to being fully formed at the beginning of her career than she does on her major label debut. A few months after her debut album, she surprise released Problematique, which read like an attempt to immediately make people forget about her lackluster debut album. But by that time, the damage was already done. Since then, Kim has taken on a bit of that anonymous, interchangeable dance pop girl route. I definitely think there's still space for Kim to regain her footing, but she would have to do the groundwork all over again.